Most of us carry a silent fear tucked away deep inside. How do we talk about death with the people we love most, especially our parents, without breaking their hearts, without making them afraid, without leaving them feeling like we're giving up on them? It's a question that sits heavy in the background of so many families, and yet so few of us know how to even begin. But here's the truth we can't afford to ignore. Avoiding the conversation doesn't spare anyone pain. It only deepens the loneliness and uncertainty that so often shadow the final chapters of life. Imagine for a moment that you're sitting across from your mother or father, the afternoon sun streaming through the window, a soft hum of life outside. And you just know, that time is slipping by faster than anyone wants to admit. How do you reach across that invisible wall of fear? How do you open a door that feels so heavy with sadness and love and everything unspoken? Before we step into that sacred, difficult space together, I want to invite you. If you're holding someone in your heart right now, a parent, a grandparent, a dear elder, please consider sharing this video. Sometimes it's not just about finding the courage for ourselves. It's about helping others find it too. Okay? The first truth to understand is this. Talking about death doesn't have to be about giving up. It can be about honoring life. It's not a signal that you expect the end to come tomorrow. It's a way of saying, your life matters so much to me that I want to walk with you through every chapter, even the hard ones. When we approach the conversation from a place of deep respect, from a desire to know their wishes, to protect their dignity, and to celebrate their story, it transforms the entire meaning. If you're still with me, if your heart is beating a little faster because you know this is something you've been meaning to do, stay close. We're just getting to the part that matters most. One of the most powerful ways to open the conversation is through stories, not statements. Instead of launching straight into we need to talk about, you can start with a memory. Maybe it's a moment when they showed incredible strength. Maybe it's a funny story from your childhood. Maybe it's a reflection on how they handled a loss in the family with grace and wisdom. Stories soften the heart. They remind us of who we are, what we've survived, what we mean to each other. And through that doorway, you can gently step into the deeper waters. You might say, I've been thinking about how strong you've always been. And it made me realize how important it is to me to know what matters most to you in the years ahead. In this way, you're not talking about death as an ending. You're talking about life as something still precious, still vibrant, still worthy of planning and protecting. If you're finding these ideas resonating with you, if someone you love is quietly sitting in the back of your mind right now, I invite you to share this video. Sometimes a simple nudge is all someone needs to start the conversation that could change everything. Stay with me because next we'll explore the single most important thing to remember when the emotions run high, and how to make sure this conversation brings you closer, not farther apart. When you finally open the door to talk about death with your parents, emotions can rise like a sudden storm. Unexpected, overwhelming, raw. It's not just their emotions you'll need to hold space for. It's your own. The fear of losing them. The grief that's already starting to grow even while they are still here. The aching wish to protect them from pain. And this is where many conversations falter, where walls go up instead of coming down. But it doesn't have to be that way. If you stay grounded, if you approach every moment with a heart wide open, a voice steady with love, you can create a space where even the most tender fears can be spoken without shame, where the sorrow doesn't drive you apart but pulls you closer. And it starts with one simple but powerful truth. You don't have to fix their feelings. You don't have to erase their fear. You don't have to turn every moment into a silver lining. You simply have to be there, to listen, to honor whatever they share, even if it scares you, even if it breaks your heart a little. Because sometimes the greatest gift we can offer is not our solutions, but our presence, steadfast, compassionate, unwavering. If you're still here, still walking this tender road with me, know this: your bravery matters. Your willingness to sit in discomfort matters. Your love shown in these raw, imperfect conversations is a light in the darkness for them. Tari, And if someone you love might need these words too, please consider sharing this message. Sometimes a simple reminder can shift an entire relationship, can soften a fear that felt too heavy to speak aloud. As the conversation unfolds, it's also important to invite their dreams and hopes into the room, not just their fears. Ask them what still brings them joy, what memories they cherish most, what moments, no matter how small, they would still love to experience. So, because talking about death isn't just about endings. It's about making the time that remains, whether it's years or months or weeks, as rich, as meaningful, as full of love as possible. You might be surprised how often these conversations, begun in sadness, find their way into laughter, into stories you've never heard before, into confessions of love or regrets or wishes that never had a place to surface until now. And in those moments, you are no longer just talking about death, but what? You are weaving together a tapestry of life that will stay with you forever. Stay with me, because next we'll explore how to honor their wishes without losing your own voice, and why this balance matters more than you might think. One of the most delicate balances you'll ever have to walk is this: honoring your parents' wishes about death and dying, while also holding on to your own voice, your own truth. It's a dance that demands patience, tenderness, and above all, deep respect for them and for yourself. Because while this conversation is about their journey, you are a part of that journey too. Your feelings, your boundaries, your hopes matter alongside theirs. Sometimes a parent might express a wish that feels hard for you to hear. Maybe they want no heroic measures taken. Maybe they wish for a certain place to rest or a particular way to say goodbye. Maybe their dreams for their final chapter look very different from what you imagined or hoped. And in those moments, your heart might ache. You might feel fear, resistance, even anger. That's normal. It doesn't make you a bad son, a bad daughter, a bad caregiver. It makes you human. If you're still here, if you're letting these words settle gently into the places that need them, remember this: honoring their wishes doesn't mean erasing your own emotions. It means making space for both truths to exist together. It means saying, I hear you, I respect you, and I want to walk with you through this, even when it's hard for me. Sometimes it helps to voice your own needs too, gently and lovingly. You might say, I want to honor what matters most to you, and it would help me so much if we could talk about how to make that happen together. When you frame it as a shared journey, not a negotiation, you invite connection instead of conflict. You build a bridge between their hopes and your heart. And sometimes honoring their wishes also means accepting that there will be unanswered questions, unresolved fears, imperfect endings. Life is messy. Love is messy. And that's okay. The point isn't to orchestrate a perfect goodbye. It's to stay present, to stay kind, to stay real. If you know someone else who's facing these complicated, beautiful conversations right now, please share this message with them. None of us should have to walk these tender paths alone. Stay with me, because next we'll talk about the hidden gifts that often emerge when we dare to have these brave conversations, gifts that can heal, deepen, and bless your relationship in ways you never expected. When we finally find the courage to talk openly about death with our parents, something unexpected often begins to unfold. Beyond the fear, beyond the sadness, there is a doorway to a deeper kind of connection that many families never experience until it's almost too late. And sometimes it is in these fragile, raw conversations that the greatest gifts are given and received. One of those gifts is honesty, real, unvarnished honesty. Not the kind that hurts, but the kind that heals. But when a parent shares their hopes, their regrets, their wishes for how they want to be remembered, it strips away all the small, petty things that sometimes cloud relationships. It reminds you, both of you, what truly matters: love, respect, the memories you've built together, the unseen ways you've shaped each other's lives. Another unexpected gift is forgiveness. So many families carry silent hurts tucked away, hidden under years of busy life and unsaid words. But when you dare to open a space where life and death are both honored, it often becomes easier to say the things that needed saying long ago. I'm sorry. I forgive you. Thank you for everything you tried to do. Words that have been waiting in the quiet corners of your heart find a way to rise, and in rising, they lighten the burden each of you carries. If you're still walking with me through this journey, if you're feeling the gentle stirring of memories and hopes within you, know this: it is never too late for healing. Even a single tender conversation can mend things that felt broken beyond repair. And if someone you know might be longing for this kind of healing but doesn't know where to start, please consider sharing this message. Sometimes a quiet invitation is all it takes to open a new chapter. Perhaps the greatest gift these conversations offer is presence. A kind of presence that goes beyond the daily logistics, beyond the surface chatter. It's the presence of two souls seeing each other clearly, maybe for the first time in a very long time. It's the presence of sitting together without masks, without defenses, simply breathing the same air, sharing the same precious, fleeting moment. In the end, talking about death isn't really about death at all. It's about life. About making sure that nothing important is left unsaid. About choosing connection over comfort, truth over silence, love over fear. Stay with me, because as we close this journey, I want to leave you with a final, quiet truth. One that will carry you forward no matter where you are on this sacred path. There is a quiet truth that lingers long after the conversation ends, after the tears have been wiped away, after the final hug, the final shared smile, the final word spoken in love. Sarid. And that truth is this: you were brave enough to show up, brave enough to open the door, brave enough to say, I love you enough to walk this difficult road with you. No matter how the conversation unfolded, no matter if it ended in tears or laughter, or long, stretching silences, what matters most is that you chose love over fear. You chose to connect when it would have been easier to retreat. You chose to honor life by facing death with open eyes and an open heart. Ponarn. That courage, your courage, becomes a light, a beacon your loved one carries with them, even as they step beyond your reach. It becomes a thread of comfort for you too, in the days and nights when grief feels heavy and questions still swirl in your heart. You will know deep down that you did not turn away. You stayed, you listened, you loved. If you're still here with me, if your heart is tender and full right now, I want you to take a moment. Breathe in the love that brought you here. Breathe out the fear that so often tries to build walls around that love. Let yourself be proud, not because everything went perfectly, but because you chose to show up with your whole heart. And if someone you care about needs a reminder of their own strength, their own ability to have these sacred conversations, please share this message with them. You never know the ripple effect your courage might inspire. Talking about death is never easy. It asks more of us than we think we can give. But in answering that call, we discover something extraordinary. Love is bigger than fear. Connection is stronger than silence. And life, real, honest, beautiful life, continues in every word, every tear, every touch shared along the way. Thank you for walking this path with me. May you find peace in your conversations, hope in your memories, and love that stretches beyond all goodbyes.